Greetings in the name of Yahushua Mashiach, our King, our High Priest, Kohan forever, according to the order of Melchizedek, and our Allure, Yahuwah, most honor and glory unto Yahuwah Kodesh name. My name is MELEK Shelemoth. This is MELEK Shelomoth Trading, and I'm going to do a little technical analysis here on the ES. All right, so this is the weekly chart, and we're going to start here. We're going to do some VPA technical analysis, right? So volume price analysis, and let's start with this candle right here, right? So we have buying volume. So this I'm starting here because, excuse me, hold on, right? So I'm starting here because this candle is basically the beginning of this uptrend right here, right? So the volume for this candle is approximately 11,199,817, right, for the week. No, yeah, over here, yes, right? So that's the approximate volume right here on this hammer candle. Let's point this out right here, right? So let's see what's the range on that. So we're going to get an approximate range here of, let's say, 263 points, right? So after that candle, we had this candle. So this candle was on what? The 5th of August, right? So that was that week right there. So on this week's candle, we have a volume of approximately 6,438,849 and 32, right? Right here on this candle right here. Right, so we have significantly less volume, almost like about less than half, right? A little more than half, right? Because this was 11. This one is 6 million point something, right? So let's see what kind of range we got on this candle here. So this candle came up to about 237 points, right? So with half the volume, we got almost, we could say about 90% of the range of this candle, right? So that's a little anomaly right there. So that's anomalous right there, right? So now we move on to this candle here. This candle has approximate volume of 5,897,830.16, and we have a range of 100.50 points, right? So when we look at this candle here and just a little volume less than this candle, we're more than half less the volume on this candle right here, and we have a very well, it's more than half the range less, and we have almost the same volume, right? So this is a big anomaly right here to me, this one right here, right? So starting off with this one, this is anomalous, too much range for this amount of volume. But what I'd charge this with is, let me just open that some more. So the reason I would say this got all this range for the least, the less volume, almost, well, a little more than half, right, is because this is a stop run, right? So what happens on a stop run is that there is no stacking of orders on the offer, right? So the orders above here are not stacked. There's gaps in the order flow in the level 2 while this candle is moving up. So the range of this candle is going to be wide because it's skipping points, right? Because there's no order stacking. If the orders were stacked, it will be more like this, right? High volume, and then you get the range, because everything here is clearing out, right? It's buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell at every point, right? Now, by the time we come here through this stop run, there's gaps in the orders, in the order under offer, right? So it's skipping from this level, it's skipping to that level, skipping to that level to fill the orders, right? So I think that's why this one is getting all this range with the just about more than half the volume of this prior candle here. But when we get up to this, we're seeing like a cap in the range. The volume is almost the same as this, but there's no range, right? There's no movement. So what's happening here then, right? Because if we have the same volume, why is it not moving, right? So compared to this, this is anomalous right here. So we would say probably the stop run is over. So this is more in tune with this volume, maybe, right? So we go over to the next candle. We have higher volume, slightly higher at about 6,438,849.32. And we have a range of approximately 108. So basically it's about the same as this one, right? So again, we have this seemingly kind of high volume, right? Because this one was absorbing sellers, but this one here isn't really showing, like it's not at the bottom here catching all this selling volume, right? We're pushing up, we're running stops, we're running sell stops, and now we get this kind of like I guess it's like a shooting star kind of candle because it's kind of at the top. It's a hammer candle at the top, right? So, or gravestone doji or whatever they call that candle. So this volume here, what is it actually doing, right? So is it buyers buying in? Is it sellers capping the price to keep it around this range to sell out? Because we had the initial selling on this candle. Let me just use the arrows. We had the initial selling and the buyback, right? Now the following candle, a little more volume, right? Let's see how much volume we got there. So we had 7,953,702.95, right? On this candle right here. So it's like we got the answer from this candle. Do we have sellers up here? It looks like we have sellers up here and they came in, the volume increased a little bit, right? And you see on the VRSI, that's the volume relative strength indicator. The sellers came in here tough, right? So we have the answer for what's going on with these two candles. It's looking like selling is coming in here, but buyers are holding it up. They stopped holding it up and the sellers just took over, right? Immediately though, the buyers came back in with more volume. So what did this do? This retest around this area here where the buyers initially stepped in. So we basically got a little retest right here, right? So they let it fall back. More buyers stepped in, higher volume, and we got this candle right here. Now, the volume is staying consistently around this level here on this one. And again, we don't have the range of this prior candle. So to me, what's happening here, sellers are distributing here again, right? Because if we don't, if we have all this volume, where is the range? Where is the buyers getting fit into this candle? Why are they not sweeping the book to the upside, right? Somebody here is selling into the buying, right? On the other candle here, we even have a smaller range, a little drop in volume, right? Not much. A little drop in volume, kind of consistent with these two candles right here, right? So similar range. It's looking like sellers are in here again. There's buying volume, there's no range, right? So it's looking like buyers are getting absorbed by the sellers. So sellers are basically taking profit, dumping on the buyers here because we're in an uptrend. Buyers stepping in, sellers are selling to them, right? We come up here, it's basically the same thing, right? We have initial sellers coming in, buyers taking it back up. Small range candles. So what we have here is, this is called a quantum dynamic price pivot. This is signaling that there's a topping of price right here, right? Mostly when you get this here, you usually get like a pullback of some sort, right? I'm surprised we didn't really get one here for this sell-off, right? But we got one here, right? Same kind of compression of the buyers. There is consistent buying. People are buying here, but it's not extended in the price range, right? So we have this price pivot here, resistance, or it's a top in price range, right? A top in price pivot. So it's signaling that there could be some pullback right here. So we start getting some sellers, right? Now the selling volume is good. It's a little higher than this previous bar right here, right? We don't get a big range movement as this candle, but we get similar volume. Let's see, let's go back here. All right, so this volume here is approximately 7,953,702, right? On this one here, we have approximately 6,438. Hold on. 6,438,849. Then the next one here is approximately 6,979,868, right? So these two volume bars here is stepping up in volume, not big selling, right? Compared to this one here, this is just basically, it's about 2 million more, right? So we didn't get the range of this seller. We had 2 consecutive selling weeks. Is decent range, but they're kind of in the range of these candles still, right? So to me, it's looking like this is controlled selling. Is it in alignment with the range? If we're looking back at these candles here, yes, right? But if we look back at this candle here, we should be at least 2/3 of this candle, which would put us at let's see here. Let's see, roughly 274. I would say about 170, 180, 181, 180, right? So let's see what this should look like. Right, so this candle should be around this level here, especially this candle with this volume right here, right? Now we just got shy of it a little bit, so you could say roughly this is kind of in alignment, right? So we look at the buyers again. We have this volume here at 6,438,849, right? We had similar volume prior. Now we have this big range right here. So let's see what range we have on this candle right here. So we have 312 on this candle right here. And basically for the volume, for this range, I'm looking at it as this similar style of candle, right? Not much volume, because you can see it's not much volume above this candle, right? But it's significantly bigger than this candle right here. So it's at 312. I think this one was like 234 or something like that. This one is at 312. So coupled with buying, this is also a stop run, basically what was happening here is happening here again, right? So shorts are coming in the market while the buyers are stepping in and support price. So we have two things going on in these candles right here. We have sellers taking profit. We have shorts looking at the weakness developing or looking at the weakness of these buyers coming in. The range of these candles are looking weak to the short sellers. They're jumping in while they see selling coming in, and they're getting stopped out on this candle, right? So with the buying coming in, they're skipping over these offers, the gaps in the offer, and they're getting the range in the movement, right? So is this anomalous? I would say this is an anomaly as well, right? So this is basically shorts getting cleared out of the market. So on the next candle, we have heavy volume, more than this candle right here, right? This volume came up to approximately 7,304,479,000. 7,304,479.97, right? So with this candle here, is this anomalous? I would say yes, because the sellers are stepping in, but there's no movement, right? So this would signify that the buyers are coming in here again, right? So where did it retest? It retest this level right here, right? Basically this level right here, this top out right here, and around the top of this candle, where sellers came in, buyers came in, sellers came back, retested, right? So buyers are supporting this move to the upside. But one thing we could say within this upward movement here is that there is sellers. There is sellers here, right? If there weren't sellers here, this range would have been bigger, right? There would be bigger ranges in these buy candles. Buyers are supporting it, or could be the same sellers are supporting it, so it does not. When the selling starts to overwhelm the buyers, they stop selling and they buy it back up to push it back up, right? Because if you're the only seller or you're the majority seller, right? Once you take your foot off the gas, the selling could easily be bought back up, right? You could be the one selling hard into the buyers that's coming in the market. When your selling starts to overwhelm them, you ease off the selling, you join in with the buyers, you bring price up, and then you start selling again. Again here for these 2 weeks, you're selling into the buyers again. Now, what could be happening here is that the buyers are starting to get a little discouraged, right? This was encouragement for them when they switch positions. The sellers, the heavy seller, is switching position to push price up to get better prices for their sales, right? For their sales. Now, the buyers are starting to get discouraged here. The ones who they have to sell into are not coming in the market as much because maybe they're looking at the chart, or they're looking at their accumulation of positions, and they're thinking to themselves, we should have been, with all this volume, just the way I'm looking at this, we should have been much higher. So there's somebody selling into us right here, right? They're selling us their positions. So maybe they're getting a little cautious and they're not buying as much. Now, if they're not buying as much, the sellers are going to have to create a new tactic, right? If they want higher prices to sell into, they're going to have to start stepping in like they stepped in here. So it's either we could see buyers they could take their foot off the gas, the sellers could take their foot off the gas, right? Get the buying starting to come back in and help the buyers out as well, right? because they have massive profits right now. They're selling into the buyers, so they could take some of that profit, push price back up with the buyers starting to come in. If they see the price, the volume is waning off, they have to join the buy side to push the price back up. Right, so this is what I think is probably going to happen this week. Now, if it doesn't, and they keep selling into these guys at dropping volume on the buy side, short sellers are going to start coming in the market, right? So if short sellers start coming in the market while these guys are selling into the buyers, it's going to cause price to push down, right? It's going to push down heavy like this right here, right? So this is overwhelming, same kind of price action, heavy volume. The range is small. They're selling into these buyers until they start overwhelming the buyers, and they get this. They have to now step in, buy with the buyers, push it back up, selling into them too hard, have to step back in, start buying, selling into them too hard, coming back down, take their foot off the gas, buy up with them again. Don't want to get a repeat of this price action 2 weeks. They stop right there. They start buying and they're pushing it up. So this is happening right now. This hasn't happened so far, right? We had it happen here a little bit, right? And you see when it came up to this point, we had the sellers. This is more significant of a drop off in buying volume than this right here. So are we going to get a pivot notification right here and start getting the sellers coming in maybe next week? Or are they going to keep on pushing it up, because the sellers will have to take their foot off the gas if they want price to move up more, or to encourage the buyers to come back in, because right now the buyers are exiting the market. They're not stepping in because they're not seeing a real progress in price for their accumulation, right? Because they're accumulating here, and let's see what they got so far. Let's say they've been buying since here. They got like 424 points, right? So even these guys right here could start turning around and being sellers, right? Because maybe they're looking at it as they're not getting enough bang for their buck, right? So they're putting heavy volume into this, and they're barely getting any movement for like probably a month and a half now, probably 2 months, right? So they may start trying to exit the market around this 6100 level, and that could also get the sellers starting to come in. So they might be taking profits, starting to short sell and stuff like that, right? So that's basically my little technical analysis on the higher time frame, right? So I'm not going to go to the, hold on. This is my messy chart over here. Actually, it's my clean chart, but when you all wasn't looking, I messed it up. So let's go back to the clean chart right here. So let's see. Right, so far we have we have a phase C. To me, we're still in a phase C of a distribution. Now, this is what I'm gonna do here. I have to move this up. I believe all of this is uptrust after distribution, so I'm gonna move this up a little bit. Put this at the high right here. And this was the potential uptrust for the measured move. This was something I did on a daily chart prior to this video. So what I'm gonna do now is remove that, because that was the potential uptrust after distribution, and they clearly blew above that, right? So you can see around this area here, This was a measured move I did, a measured move that I did from, I can't remember exactly when, but I'd have to go back on the daily and the weekly chart to find that. But you can see here that when we came up to this area, this was a potential target for some of these guys because they started distributing around this area, right? So they consolidated until buyers finally said, well, we're going to leave this area and look for more, right? So I'm going to get rid of that now. Right, so this is our new level and we're still going, right? So uptrust after distribution from the Wyckoff theory and we're still going to the upside, right? So let me just adjust this here. Now, hold on. Let's just move this up. Right. So to me, we're in phase C of a distribution. We're still going to create this uptrust after distribution and we're going to get this pullback. Now, this could still keep going to create a huge uptrust after distribution and then get the distribution like in the new year, right? Because we might get this whole holiday run up and then get the distribution when the new year begins, right? Because we're probably gonna have some fireworks and stuff in the new year, so maybe the market will start pulling back in the new year. So this is all looking like from a weekly, this is hourly candles, right? So what I'm seeing here is just a more detailed version of a distribution, right? So we have distribution. You see where the sellers take their foot off the gas, buyers come back in on low volume, right? So let's take a little more detailed look at this. All right, so this distribution happens during regular trading hours, right? You can see the hours at the bottom there. This is from 9 till 12, right? This was on the 25th of November. And then in the ETH, right, we have initial distribution, right, on low volume. And then we have low volume buying. So you can see down here, heavy volume selling during the day, right? So they're selling into buyers as well, right? Because remember, we're in this uptrend, buyers are buying, right? So they took the opportunity here at, let's see, what price? What price was this? What did they get up to here? 60.39. But let's say roughly the selling started from 60.27, right? So somewhere around here, sellers decided to apply pressure with late buyers coming in, trying to push price up. They stepped on their head right here and sold all of this to them. Buyers got overwhelmed, came down here, sellers took their foot off the gas. Let me just open this up. Took their foot off the gas, bought it up into the close, right? Giving them a little hope because you can't just sell into them. They're going to run away from the market, right? So we have all this buying right here. Look at this candle, right? Heavy buying. To me, this equals more sellers selling into them right here, right? So heavy buyers coming in. Oh, we got a deal, right? So the buyers thinking we have a deal. Boom, we're gonna enter in here at the end of the last hour on the trading day, right? On the session, right? So we have this bullish outlook going into this session. So in the ETH, initial sellers, low volume, right? Brought it back down, buyers stepping again. And over the ETH, London session and all that, buyers step in. And they slowly bring price up. And all during that day is basically is heavy volume and no price action to the upside. All of this is happening again at a distributive level, right? So you gotta kind of peep the tactics, right? This is on a more detailed look at what the tactic looks like. So distributing into heavy buying volume, right? Because they think they got good prices here. They're buying, 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 thinking we're going to push this all the way up, right? And you see these candles right here. As soon as they open, sellers just keep it in between this level right here, distributing, distributing, letting it push up, distributing, distributing, right? So with this candle right here, right, heavy volume, and we get this kind of doji candle, right? That's the sellers right there. These two candles right here, they maxed out on them right there. So they shoved a lot of orders down the esophagus with this one right here, right? So the buyers came up slowly. Again in the last hour, buyers making their attempt. And what do we see here again? Sellers handed all their orders over to them. And where is this happening again? Let's see here. Right there at the top. Right? So they did it all over again. Just not as dramatic as this time, but the wick to the top side, sellers stepping in. See again here in the ETH. What is this here? This is the opening session on the next day. Distribution, distribution. Sellers just applying pressure until they take their foot off the gas and stabilize price. Next day, buyers are discouraged. We don't see anything. I think this was a holiday though. I think this was Thanksgiving, so that doesn't matter. Even the day after that doesn't really matter. Buyers step in a little bit. And you could start to see here where buyers are not really that keen. It's either they're buying, every time they buy, they're getting sellers stepping on them, right? Look at this day right here. Sellers, buyers come back up. Not really going anywhere, right? And now we have the same thing again. Buyers, buyers, buyers. And we just brought it up to this level here, 6102. So within this uptrend here, or this whole movement here, since these sellers right here, to me they're still selling into these guys, right? This is where they step in too much, price pulls down, they ease off the gas. Look at this volume right here. Low volume, heavy buying candle. So that's basically manipulation, stop runs, skipping the offer, skipping the price on the offer, pushing price higher, pushing it back up to where they want to sell. And let's see here. Right, so this is basically 30 points up from where they distributed before, right? And all you get in here now, big buying, right? Look at this candle right here. Big buying volume, but like a hammer candle, or like not a shooting star, but I think it's called a graveyard doji or something like that. So initial selling, and they have to buy it back up. So there is sellers in here somewhere, right? Heavy volume again on the close, no follow through. So who's keeping this narrow, right? If this is all buying volume, who's keeping this narrow? Why is it so narrow? So what I'm looking at here is this could be the beginning of the turnaround I was talking about on the weekly, right? We can start to see some selling coming in. So let's take a look at some pivots, right? So what we did, we got like for the week so far, we got this bullish target of R1, which is at 60.81. So floor pivot R1, we achieved that, right? So that's a bullish target. Where did we open? We opened somewhere around here. right, at 60.51, pull back to the central pivot, top central. We didn't hit the central pivot. We touched the central pivot range, pushed up, met sellers again, overwhelmed, push back up, manipulation back to the upside, bullish target, got the manipulation there again. You see the back and forth at the bullish target, step off the gas, push price up to R2. Sellers now in play again, right? So what's the desired price they're looking for right here, right? Because somebody's in control. I believe the sellers are in control, but they're manipulating the buyers into, they're raising price, right? Selling into the buyers. And what's their target price? Where do they want to distribute at, right? Because they've been distributing all this time. That's why I stick to the phase C of the distributive structure from the Wyckoff theory. I'm still not looking at this as some kind of reaccumulation. This is looking like somebody is selling into these guys, right? So how much more manipulation are we going to get, right? Because if we see it, we see the selling, the pullbacks, we see the selling that's overwhelming the buyers at times, right? We see this taking the foot off the gas from the sellers and they're pushing it up and then immediately start selling again, right? How much times are they going to do this? What's the price target? Because now on the weekly, as I showed you before, let's go back over here. Not this one, this one. We're starting to see the buyers are getting hip to this game, right? They're not partaking as much. So we have lower in buying volume, right? And just price just slowly creeping up, right? But if we just look at price, we're bullish, right? We're now at 61. What's the top there? 6100 or something like that. 6102, right? So we are moving up, but how are we moving up? Are we moving up with buyers partaking here, or are we moving up with some kind of manipulation where the sellers are selling into the buyers and not really looking to really achieve they're not partaking in the bullish move as much. They're just propping up the price, right? So they could do this a lot until they reach their target. But what is their target, right? So they always say you just have to follow the trend, right? Now, if you're following the trend, this is what you might start noticing. If you're entering, if it's a bullish trend, right, you're supposed to buy the pullbacks, right? So, excuse me. So when the session opens, hold on one second. Right, so when the session opens here, right? Let's see, where was this? You know what? Let's do today. Right, so the session opens. You get this huge drawdown, right? We have a bullish ETH trend. So we're in an uptrend in the ETH. Let me use the arrows. Uptrend in the ETH. We open and then boom, we get this pullback. So maybe you should buy the dip, or when do you choose to buy the dip? Is the dip supposed to retest here at this level here, or at the bottom of this range here, right? This is the 8 o'clock. This is the 8 o'clock candle right here. So the bottom of this range, the bottom of this range. So we're blowing out stops from here, right? Guys who entered here long are getting blown out here, right? So boom, they got blown out. The buyers got blown out here. We come up to these two candles, buyers trying to So some of them stepped in here, right? Trying to push price up, they can't do it. Again, we get a stop run. Not as deep as this one, but enough to take out buyers from these candles. Some of them from this candle. And then eventually we get this push up and this push up right here. So within the price action of, let's say if it's a healthy uptrend, right? You might not get such deep pullbacks to stop out buyers. You would want buyers to remain in the market and keep buying, right? What's happening here though is that we're getting buyers coming in the market, but they're getting stop run, right? So they're getting run out the market and they're looking for buyers to attempt to buy again, right? And they're selling into them, right? So it's kind of like a tricky game happening right here now, where it's like, to me, is the dominant player is a seller, and he's only propping up prices. What's not happening is follow through on the buy side. We have small increments of movement, stop runs, and then you get this candle here, right? These last two candles. So during the day, which is, let's see, what time was this? So you would have to come in at 2 o'clock, right? Not the beginning of the session, because you might get wiped out until like 1 o'clock. You're getting wiped out at 10 o'clock, and during the day, if you try to get in, you're getting wiped out at 1 o'clock. If you come in at 2 o'clock, you might survive this little stop run right here, and they'll push you up, right? So this trade right here was basically a 2 o'clock buy, right? So it's late in the session. If you wanted to get a early buy, you might get stopped out here, right? So and if you look at it, it is an uptrend, right? So how you play this game is a little tricky, you know what I'm saying? Because you're basically in an uptrend with a dominant seller. So you have to look for you really have to wait for like a stop run for the dominant seller to, I guess, overwhelm the buyers, and then you could step in when he steps into proper price. That's the way I'm kind of looking at it right now. You could only step in after he exhausts the buyers and takes his foot off the gas and steps into proper price around these levels, right? Which is at 10 o'clock and at 1 o'clock, right? If you try to get in here at 9:30 to 10 o'clock, you will get run out the market, right? Because he's overwhelming the buyers and pushing price down. So you got stop run right there. Stop run at 1 o'clock, and 2 o'clock was the buy, right? So it's kind of tricky. So when is the buy, and the buyers are, to me, the buyers are getting wind of this, and as I showed you over here, this is dropping volume with this minuscule kind of price action to the upside, right? So the more the buyers stay out of the market now, is the more this will start turning around, right? Because short sellers are definitely looking at this. I'm not the only one looking at this, right? In a contrarian view of the uptrend, short sellers are going to start slamming on the shorts to try and catch when this overall seller, the dominant seller, they're going to try and catch when he overwhelms the buyers, which is getting easier and easier because they're not there, right? They're dropping off. So when is this going to happen again? And this, because that's all we're seeing. We're seeing the signs of weak participation to the upside, right? Again, weak. When are we going to get the response? Again, because this is gonna happen again, right? It's a matter of when. Now, if you're just a day trader, right? I'm just a day trader. I still gotta move with the uptrend, right? So I gotta now think about where I'm actually joining this uptrend. So let's see here. Or am I thinking, let's see here, let's get a more detailed look at today's open. Right, so this was the open, this was the first 5-minute candle here, right? So we had the initial buy, right? Ran us up here, came back down, flushed out some, pushed up, and then took out the buyers, right? So this was the first 30 minutes of price action. So if you thought you were going to get a follow through here on the uptrend, you even started to get stop runs as early as 8:40, right? So wiping them out. Let me use the arrows. So 8:40 wipe out. I think that's what 8:55. Let's see. Right, so 8:50, 8:40, 8:45, 8:50 wipe out. Another kind of stop run here again to the downside. And then just before the open, wipe them out. Right, so all the buyers here took them out here. Gave them some on the open, right? So on this candle came up to, the first candle came up to 60.84, right? Gave them some. You would have to, if you caught this buy here on the first 5-minute candle, you had to get out somewhere around here on the retest of the structure right here, right? So let's say you entered at 60.81. You would have to be out at 60.83. So they only gave you 3 points before they pull back again. Then from here, 60.79, they gave you up until 60.85. So on this trade right here, if you bought this, right, you got some points here. So you got from 60.79.50 to 60.85.50. Not really much, right? Because look at this here. The range on this IB30 range is 6.75 points. Right? So you're basically getting stopped out a lot within this first 30 minutes. Right? You try to buy, you're gonna get swiped. They got swiped all the way down here. Right? So if you're a buyer, where did this come to? This retested this area right here. So within your setup, are you catering for a retest of this level? Is this something you're looking to take? Does this look like, man, I shouldn't really buy this right now? This is looking super weak, right? Are you confidently gonna buy this and take this back up? When you buy this right here, you get pushed up. All right, let's see here, right? You bought this, you got 8 points on this move, right? Or let's say you did this. You bought the IB low and you want to get to the IB high, 6.50 points, right? So you got 6 points on this move. You would have to be in and out. You're not getting big moves in this stuff. So as soon as you get 6.50 points, pull back again, right? And all of this price action here is sellers overwhelming the buyers, right? That's the big seller operating within here. He's taking his foot off the gas. If he doesn't take his foot off the gas here, this is going all the way down to the beginning right here, right? But he doesn't want it to go that far down, so he has to take his foot off the gas of the selling, heavy volume buying, and he has to buy it back up. And where does it come back to again, right? After this distribution here, more selling. So is this considered an uptrend? Is this heavy buying? Is this this is a safe bullish uptrend? No, it's not. Right? This is distribution within an uptrend, or within the buying. This is distribution. So with that knowledge, I'm thinking I want to maybe step in more on the sell side because the dominant player here is a seller. He's the one moving price all the way down, right? Buyers aren't really doing anything here until he gives them a chance, right? But the moves here is coming in on the sell side, right? So the IB short, we come back up here to this, the initial selling. We take a short here. Let's see. Where are you? Where's my short position? Why are you over here? So let's see here. We come back up to the IB high. Let's see. We take 2 points risk and we try to catch roughly 8 points, right? So if we try to get this move here, we will get 8 points plus. Well, yeah, we get 8 points before it actually did this, right? So it's heavy manipulation right here. So if we don't come out at the bottom of this candle right here, we're getting run out, right? By this candle, right? So it's in and out. You take a short at the IB high, right? Where you see the prior selling came in, take a chance up here and try and break. Probably it's even safer to just go to the IB low, because who knows where the buyer is gonna step in, or where they're gonna take their foot off the gas and push it back up, right? So you can see here manipulation again. So even if you're short and you're trying to ride the coattails, you're gonna get run out the market as well, and then your short is really gonna work, right? So you get a 12.75 move from the IB high, right? But you only get that after this. You can't stay in the market when this is happening. That doesn't make any sense. After having all that profit to the IB low, why would you give back all of this? This makes no sense. Now, in hindsight, this trade would work, right? But on this retracement here, it makes no sense to stay in the market. Maybe for some people, it's just take the trade, set it, and leave it. You know what I'm saying? But with these what's it called? Prop firm accounts and stuff like that, if you let this pull back, you're damaging your account right there with drawdowns, right? Because the trailing drawdown is gonna look at it like, man, you went into all this profit, you're giving it back. So definitely we're gonna lower or raise your trailing drawdown, right? So you would have to get out somewhere around here. Or when you see this happen, just get out, right? You break the top of this candle, you gotta come out. So eventually it got this 12.75 points, and we moved up again. So yeah, basically I gotta look for, because my strategies are kind of struggling right now, where I'm looking for the same kind of setups, but the plays are different. It's kind of hard to explain. It's the same setups. You would get the same setups, but these setups are happening at different locations. It mightn't be at Camarillo R3. It mightn't be at because this IB high is happening at Camarillo R6, right? That purple line right there, or the breakdown of Camarillo R5, right? Camarillo R3 is all the way down here. So from a pivot standpoint, this is bullish. You're supposed to be looking for buys, but buys where, right? Because if you're looking for buys here, where are you going to catch this buy? Is this the buy right here? It's going to push up, pull back down, sink the Titanic, come down here, run your stops, come back up here. So are we taking the buy here? Are we sure this is not going to happen again? Are we sure sellers are not dominant in the market? Not really. We see this come up here to the IB high, poke above it a little bit. We have this big pullback. Sellers come back in. Are we jumping in short? Is this another short? Stop run. Distribution. Stop run again. So I don't know if I'm explaining this correctly, or you're seeing where this is a tricky market to trade, whether either side you're trying to play, right? If you're on the short side, you could try and catch these. If you're on the long side, you're gonna have to try and catch this, right? When you try and catch this, you're gonna run into these guys right here, right? So I don't know, it's just a little tricky. So what I'm seeing is, again, I'm seeing there's a dominant seller, and I'm gonna try and catch where he's coming in or how he's coming in, right? So it mightn't be at my levels of Camarilla R3 anymore. He might do like today and push it above Camarilla R3. We're way above Camarilla R3. We're looking bullish, but then he's doing this stuff, right? And this stuff right here. So even though we're bullish, I'm still gonna be looking to catch some of these overwhelming of the buyers, right? When he gets too active and starts applying, like right here, he's applying selling pressure into the buyers. The buyers are feeling confident, right? Although it's low volume there. So in this consolidation, if we're not moving down like this, that means there's buyers buying up the selling right here, right? And again, I like this pivot indicator right here. So this top pivot is showing you there is some kind of pivot to the top side. There is some kind of resistance happening here. And if you notice, every time that happens, we get that pullback. When this happens, we get that pullback, right? So again, when we get this here, we get that pullback. So another one, you get a pullback. So what I'm going to start looking at is this, I believe, was floor pivot R3, right? Yeah, R3. So we were bouncing off of floor pivot R3. So there is some scalps to be taken here. Once these things pop up, I'm going to try and incorporate this into my strategy, because I do have them on my chart, right? But I just use them as like a reference sometimes, right? But they're a little more significant than just a reference, right? You could even see on the buy side here, we have them on the buy side, right? So once you get this on the buy side pivot, swing low pivot, you get the up move. Selling pivot, you get the down move, however slight it might be, right? This one is bigger. So I'm going to look for this, right? You could see here on this retest of the IB high, we have the pivot here. So once this coincides with my upper deviation VWAP bands, I'm going to try some of these shorts. I'm not going to be too keen on trying to catch these fallen knives right here, right? Because this is happening when he's just overwhelming the buyers, right? So I don't want to be caught up in that sweep. If I get stop run to the upside, then that's all right with me, right? If I get short squeezed, it's okay. But I'm trying to run with a dominant player. Even though price is moving up, there's a dominant seller in this market. That's just my opinion, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just looking at the price action. Where is the price action happening on a more forceful level, right? And to me is the sell side. So I'm gonna look out for these top pivots, line them up with my upper deviations. This is pivot R3. Could catch this right here. We see it stop out at this level, jump out the market, maybe take another one, jump out the market when it hits certain pivot levels, jump out the market again. When we come back to these levels, basically we testing this level here. And yeah, that's basically it, man. Let's see in the ETH here so far, we have this is a golden pivot zone, Camarilla S3, and the pivot level right here is lined up. So tomorrow this is supposed to be a support level, right? So we may come back here, retest that for like a reversal buy. And the way the selling is happening, I would look for this to be a shakeout, right? It should break this. The seller I don't think he's gonna sell directly to this. He's gonna apply so much pressure that it's gonna do those shakeouts. And then when we're coming back above these levels, I could think about taking a buy to the upside, right? While the stop run is happening. So let's see. If not, we're looking at 6109 floor pivot R1, 6112. These are potential levels where I want to take some shorts, right? So maybe the buyer wants to take it up here, somewhere around here, and exhaust the buyers. I mean, the seller is going to take it up here, let price come up to this level, exhaust the buyers, and we could catch some of those shorts. So that's basically I'll be looking for my black sun strategy around these areas here, potentially around this area as well, right? So yeah, that's basically what I'll be looking for. Unless you see like strong consistent buying, like strong uptrend out the gate and stuff like that, then that's something different. But these kind of tricky uptrends with massive selling in between, nah, I'm looking to catch that short. All right, y'all. So let's see here. See, this is bookmap. Or let me go over here to TraderMap Pro, right? So on this here, we have a bunch of liquidity targets to the upside, right? So this is another reason why I think this guy is the dominant seller, and he wants to get these targets, right? Now if you look, there isn't much on the bid, right? Long-term liquidity, there isn't much on the bid. There's this one here at 60.28, right? So this is more of an enticement for buyers to achieve these levels, right? So it's drawing price up to these levels. So this here is a manipulation within itself, because the only target for price is around these levels. But while you're going up, you're selling into the buyers, right? So if we look at this level, what is this level here? The beginning here is 61.16. Or let me just open this up a little bit. All right. So you're at 61.17 or 61.18, right? That's the first level, up to 61.20, right? So let me just go back over here. 61.20. Let's see what that is. Right, so this is up here at our Camarilla R4 level. So this might be one of the areas I'm looking for to see if we get a exhaustion up here from the buyers, right? So if we get that uptrend up here again, right, we blow through Camarilla R3, we're heading up to Camarilla R4, we're somewhere around here at the open. Then I'm looking for, this is where all the liquidity is, right? So let's switch back over here. So this is where I'll be looking for the resistance. Right, so between 61.18 and 61.20, that's where the liquidity is right now. Right, so let's see if we get through the first one, we get a point ahead, and by the time they hit these three liquidity bands right here, they get exhausted and we start seeing signs of selling. We have R2 here at 61.22, right? If we start seeing right now between these levels, we start seeing the exhaustion. I want to catch that short all the way back down to 61.09, right? Back down to R3. So I'll be looking out for something like that because I'm trying to run with the dominant player, and to me the dominant player is a seller. He's putting all these offers on the via Trader Map Pro. You're seeing all the offers, all the liquidity is to the upside. This is where the downside liquidity is, right? They're not trying to get here, they're trying to get here. So while they're trying to get here, they're enticing the buyers to keep coming in, right? And they're selling into them. Now, if you look at this bubble here again, wait, so that bubble changed perspective. Hold on. Right, so look at this bubble here, right? This bubble at the end is majority selling. Wait, right? Majority selling, so it's purple, right? This one was half and half right there, right? And this one at the end of the trading, at the end right there of the session, majority sellers, right? So let's see what price action is going to do tomorrow. Because to me, I'm definitely seeing that there's a seller in this market. All right, y'all. So it's MELEK Shalomoh. This is MELEK Shalomoh. That's my little technical analysis, my little breakdown of how I'm seeing the market. It's a little contrarian view of the uptrend. But to me, it's a struggling uptrend, right? And if the uptrend can barely move, it's going to get broken soon. Will it get broken through this holiday season? Probably not. But we're probably going to experience these sell-offs within the uptrend, right? That's today's session. That's yesterday's session. Let's see here. Right, and this was Monday's session, right? So no clear takeoff and no selling, right? So I'm trying to catch these sells right here, right? Because the buyers are pushing up, same kind of distribution happening. So I'm trying to catch that exhaustion right there, right? I'm not trying to catch the reversal because that's not the dominant player, in my opinion, right? So yeah, that's what I'm looking out for. All right, y'all. So it's MELEK Shalomoh. Y'all trade safe and stay blessed.